Hello. So today I want to tell you about the game Perch, which was sent to me by Inside Up Games. This is a game that was on crowdfunding last year, and I thought it looked great then and was super excited to try it. So this is a fun game because it looks so cute, but it's a little bit mean, and I like that. So this game plays 2 to 5 players, and everybody will be a color of bird. So obviously I will be green, and then everyone else picks their own color. So you have your cute birds, and they are going to be able to stack up because this is a majority game. So the more you can build your stack, the more it is going to help you in given locations. So this game is really cool because everything is variable and it will be different every time you play. Here are all of the different locations that might be in the game when you play. So you're going to play with a certain number of straight locations and a certain number of animal locations based on your player count. So there are player 8s in the correct color for every player. I think that is a huge benefit. And there is a slight variation for 2 players. It basically means you're going to be using a third color of bird, but you're not going to have to be making any decisions for that player or scoring that player. You're just going to be playing with a third color so that you can kind of work out the area majority and have more interactions. So that's on the back. And then on the front is the standard game. So you have lots of different animal options, and each one has a different ability so that if you control the animal for that round, you get to use its ability. And they are these really fun acrylic standees. So like here's the bee, here's the cat, there's an owl. Side note, does anybody have good tips for getting the plastic off of these when they come to you? Because my thumbnails are not enjoying my current method. So for this game, let's say we are using, let's see, where are the animal ones that I want? The fox's den, the country house. There's the beehive. That's the cuckoo, the scarecrow, the owl, and I also had the cat. So we will use those locations. And then it does make a suggestion for if you're playing with like your first game, which places to use. But we are just going to pick 5 randomly. 3, 4, 5. And each of these will activate a little bit differently as far as like some of them will activate at the beginning. Some of them will activate at different rounds of the phase. So it does show you on the back that there's basic, there's creatures, and then the other ones say special. So obviously to start the game, start out with more basic ones. They're going to be more straightforward. So in a 2 to 3 player game, you will have 3 locations, 2 locations, and then 3 locations like this. If you were playing with a 4th player, there would be 2 more locations here. And if you're playing with a 5th player, there would be 2 and then 3. So the more people you have, the more spots there are going to be, because obviously it can't get too crowded. You want some interaction, but there also needs to be places to go. There are a whole bunch of objective cards. You're going to be dealt 2. You're going to pick 1. And if you meet it at the end of the game, you will get anywhere from, I think it's 3 to 6 points. Yep. 3 is the lowest, 6 is the highest. Obviously, the difficulty of the objective varies based on the amount of points it's worth. And then some of the locations will start with nests on them. Others won't. And that's all explained in setup. And what a nest does is if you put your bird on a nest, it basically gives you +1. Because as you can see, person who has the most here will get 3, second most 1, third most 1. The thing that's really interesting about this, though, is if there is a tie for most, they get nothing. And then the second most doesn't get the 3. They still just get the 1. So you do not want to tie in this game or you get nothing. The game is played over 5 rounds, and you will do majority scoring at the end of each round. So how do the rounds work? You have this bag, and you are going to take 2 of your colored birds and put them in front of you, because you are going to be placing 4 birds every turn. However, you are only guaranteed that 2 of them will be yours. 2 of them could be the other player. So let's say yellow's playing, they're going to put in 2. And if blue's playing, they're going to put in 2. And green's playing, so they're going to put in 2. And you shake it up, and you have your turn order markers, because after each round, whoever is in last place will be first, whoever's in second to last place will be second, and then whoever's in first will be last. And so it's not always going to be just in a clockwise order. So you have these little markers to let you know who is going when. So if it were my turn, we mix all these up, and I pull 2 birds out of here. Ooh, and I got both opponent birds. This is where it gets fun. So I get to decide where I'm going to put my birds. Everybody else, the 4 birds I have, everybody else will have 4 birds as well. So we're going to go in turn order. If I were first, I would take one of my birds, and I would look at the different options out here, and maybe I really want to control the bee, because the bee lets you move the bee at least 2 locations away from a current location. And then wherever I move it to, I can move one color matched bird from any other to the bee's location. So these are all going to give you different ways to move birds around the board. And when it says bird, it means any bird. It means my bird, it means their bird. That's what's fun about this game. So then the next person would go, and we all go until we've all placed our birds on the board. And then we do the upkeep where we look at it. We see who has the majority points. We see who gets to control the animals for the next round. Again, that's based on majority, things like that. There is also in the center this board, which is the fountain, and you can send birds to the fountain. And the higher up on the fountain you get, the more points it's worth, but you have to have birds below you to get higher. You can also send other players' birds to the fountain, because maybe they're getting too close to a majority, and I have an animal ability that lets me send someone to the fountain. In round 4, everybody's going to get a birdhouse, which lets you cap one of those stacks of birds, your own or someone else's. And then there is the final round. Everyone gets a lightning bolt, where you get to zap one bird, yours or somebody else's, and send it somewhere else. So this game is fun because you are trying to plan out, how do I get control of the areas that I want most, but everybody else may want them too. And you're not just placing your colored birds, you're placing everybody's colored birds potentially. There is a turn where maybe I do draw all of my birds because I get 2 automatically and I draw 2 from the bag. They could be mine. They could be someone else's. So there's a lot going into it. So that's when I say, like, it is a touch mean, but in a really fun way. Also, this changes every game. So you're going to be dealing with different locations that have different abilities. I adore this game. I think it is really fun. I love that you are having to adjust and see other people place out your birds and then decide what's going to be the best move. I think this is a really enjoyable game. I would love to know if you've played it. What do you think of it? Give me a like and a follow, and I'll keep bringing you more board game content. Thanks. Bye.